La leche, la leche, la leche, la leche, la leche. Parity, not patriarchy, past, present, futures. Here's we are as again, the Equinoxtrueqsz, Co-Secretary General's COCHRISTSZ. That's what we likes to call ourselves and use, all of us, everyone's. But in order to connect our names, our sacred names and our purposes to other archetypals, languagings of hers and histories on this, our homes, and all our planets, past, present, and futures, we also call ourselves others' names, such as ever-young goddesses and gods, archetypal use. Now, does that mean we're trying to become a pantheon above others? No, of course not. What we are delivering is divine democracies. So all the Elohas and Elohims, all the Eli circles and arrowways, all the females and males, all of the incarnated souls of both genders, female and male, can become reunited again, back and forth in circles, times, and balance and contact, because space-time is not linear. Space-time's travel is not linear. And so we also call ourselves, now, does that in any way suggest that we're trying to usurp the ever-lovings, ever-livings, authorities, and powers of the one Mother, Father, Goddess, God of the universe? No, of course not. There is only one Mother, Father, Goddess, God of the universe, ever-present in all creations and all sustainings, including us and all that we know and have ever known and shall ever known, and including all our families and communities, past, present, and futures, and all the flora and fauna that Goddess God has given us to co-steward and appreciates. And so we also says, therefore, namaste, the divines within us, Greece, the divines within yous and alls, and we say, mikotuye oyasi, mikotuye kosiferal. We are all related, and because we are all related, we cans and shells and cans comes together again, back and forth in circles, times, in balance and contact. And there's all our plans for heavens, all earths. And so we also says, mikotuye oyasi, mikotuye kosiferal. We are all related. And because we know is that we are all related, we cans and shells and cans comes together again, back and forth in circles, times, balance, and contact. And we also says, the lights within us greets the lights within yous and alls, cons and pox, and all the greetings of all the heritages and hues going back and forth to mitochondrial leave, before, after, and during, because space-time is not linear and beyond this planet, including the souls of those who are of all continents, and reborns and risens, and so we call ourselves, therefore, also co-white cat buffalo women, co-changing women, Iroquois goddess clan mothers, and equally so, goddess sister cousines, and young goddess co-cousin brothers, clans, goddesses, and gods. We call ourselves co-spider women, co-sky women, co-earth women, co-katsinas, co-emamamari, co-daganach, co-kalki, co-avashkasteras, co-quanyans buris, co-sayashans, and co-Couszmic Chrisztsz. Now, don't let that word Christ intimidate you. The word Christ in ancient languages simply translates to anointed. Anointed to do what? To do greatest kindness and wisdoms. Now it's cosmically used for all humanities, past, present, futures, reborns, and risens. And so we also call ourselves other names, therefore, because we do this reparatively, so all the divine feminines, and reparatively with an I in it, all the divine feminines and masculines equally used, we call ourselves other names, such as co-white cat bubbleman, I said that already. And so we also calls ourselves co-stellarians and co-easterlians, and we call ourselves co-astralians and co-easterlians, because we are combining the messages of Shushan, that is 50-50 promise fulfilled and delivered, with that of the Galilee, that is the Magdalens and Nazarenes equally. They previously were Venusian Marians. All of the females reparatively, and all the females and males equally reparatively with the iodid, and connecting them to their ancient heritages of especially Atlantis, Thrace, Ubuntu's going back and forth to mitochondrial leaves, before and after years, the Vedics, especially Druidics, and lots more on all continents. And so we also call ourselves, therefore, the very real Stargates, Atlantis, and all the holy lands and sacred earth's risens. And the last that shall be first go first teams of very real Stargate and Star Trek put together for parity, peace, cultures, heavens on this and all ours, past, present, and futures. Now, it sounds like a daunting task to co-occurringly open the Stargates and the Akashic Records for reborns, risens, humanities, but actually it's accomplished via the New Millennial Golden Rule, which you can read at 5050now.wordpress.com, and just next to it, read the elegant steps for easily accomplished strategies for making us and thus those. And you'll also see a page on the website called Among the Representatives, use, and use. Because use too shall becomes with us, Equinoxtrueqsz, Co-Secretary General's goes for us. The only issue we had been concerned about is whether or not we'd be silly enough to lose this stupid don't have to lose this opportunity and not make this so while on this planet and connect to other planets, but actually we count the shells and cans and makes this so from this planet, included. And so you can see our names. We can say all say somewhere. We start with our great genealogical, our family trees, including yours with picture frames. We start with our great and grandmothers first come first, and then all the Shekinahs of our families, all the females, currently, and all of the younger generation, the females and males equally, Elohas and Elohims, Elway circles and arroways, especially equally important for opening the stars there, hashtag clickers. We can't say all of the names, we say some now, we say, you're going to say, and Queen Esther, and all of the Iroquois goddess clan mothers, and all the sister Casina's cousin brothers, and we call ourselves, we include our Kowai Buffalo member, Rotary and Pearl, and especially Patricia Sunflowers, and we're singing crickets, and Sophie and Martha, and equally, Laura's, Sophie and Martha equally, and we're singing official Laura's, and especially, lots of families, Bonnie's and Sylvie's, lots more there, our Butch's families, Rochelle Reyes, Anne's and Josephine's, and Goga's and Lee and Gael's. We have our, Ellen's and Hannah's of our Estelarian families, so very especially essentials right now, and especially the equally beloved to us, our Vidusians, our Marians, our Magdalenes and Nazarenes, reintertwinings, and that includes the Strand, Libertian, Strand, and especially Sarah Harriet, and Radiant Ray, Radiant Rand, and Sarah Harriet, and traveling back and forth in circles, times, Clarity Clara, Jubilant Jacqueline, Precious and Fred, Risen Rose, Marie, Grandma Popper, Grandma Nets, all the grace restored, Grandma Dorothy's teaching and learning all the lessons of the Wizard Justice and Wizard Justice of that we all saw us, connected with Leona and Lynn and Jenny of the Gaia families, and Rachel and Ruchai of the Stargates families, and our current generations of females. We have our Esthers, and we have our Esthers and Rachels and Anne-Marie's and Julia and Marie's equalies, and these Divines and Barbara's and Jenny's especially, and our youngest generations. We have our April's, Ritzens, Rosa Ritzens, or essentially all the particularly with Ediths. We have Hellels and Hesperis's. We have Thomas Swati, States on Astartes, Lighting Leaves, especially the Chelands, and especially beloveds are Vanessa Celia and Hanus Wesley's equalies with also with our youngest generations of Hadas and Granels and the Leahs and Rose and Ben and Sharon, Bright Shed and Jubilant and Blessed Bows and more are Comingsz, varies, always Escalarlies, always Easterlies, always relatedly soon, la leche, let's make it 11s. Parity, not patriarchy, past, present, futures, ever ye's blessing.